This is for Math 7, Pre-Algebra. This is Chapter 2, Section 4, Multiplying Rationals. So we had a couple, actually we had 3 or 4 people demonstrate how to do this yesterday. In short, I'm just going to give you some quick examples of how to do this. There's your straight across multiplying approach. So numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. And you'll have a product of 6 over 56. But this won't be simplified. So at this point, you're going to have to prime factorize. So 6 is 3 times 2, 56 is 7 times 2 times 2 times 2. What we're doing is we're looking for any common factors. In this case, the greatest common factor is 2. So our numerator is 3. And our denominator is 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. And that is your answer. This is a pretty traditional approach. What I like to do, personally, is I'll take this exact same expression. And what I do is, instead of multiplying numerators and denominators, what I will do is I will immediately factor all the numerators. So 1 is, well, just 1. 6 is 3 times 2. And just so you know, we really don't need to put that 1 there, but I do that because when I don't, students wonder where it went. Now my denominators are 8 and 7. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, and 7 is prime, so it's just 7. 2 over 2 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 7 is 28. Now if you look at the two examples, clearly example B is a little bit quicker and shorter, maybe even less work than example A. But we did the same exact two things. In A we multiplied first. In B we multiplied second. In A we had to simplify at the end, and in B we simplified at the beginning. So even though we did the same exact 2 steps, we changed the order, and what that does is it changes the amount of work that we have to show. So I want you to think about that when you're doing these assignments. Negative 2/3 times 4 1/2. So immediately you should be thinking about changing this mixed number to improper, because it will be easier for you to factor out. Because what we're going to do is we're going to factor our 2 and our 9, and then our 3 and our 2. Negative times positive is negative, so that's taken care of. We have a 2 here, and 9 is 3 times 3. Our denominators are both prime, 3 and 2, so we just put them down here. And what we do is we look for anything that's equal to 1. 3 over 3 is equal to 1, and 2 over 2 is equal to 1. That leaves us with a negative 3. (12) times negative 5/8. So over here we had a fraction and a mixed number, and what we wanted to work with was a fraction and an improper fraction. So that way we could simplify numerators and denominators. We want to do the same thing here. This is a whole number, so we're going to change it to a fraction. In this case, technically it's improper. Now we can get into simplifying. So 12 is 3 times 2 times 2. There's this negative 5. What we're going to do is we're going to put the 5 here, and we're going to throw the negative over here because this is positive times negative, so that's just going to be negative. Here's that 1. Again, we don't really need it, but I'm just going to put it there for you. And then the 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 2 over 2 is 1. See, we're looking for those equal forms of 1. And then 2 over 2 is 1. So our numerator is 3 times 5 is 15. And our denominator is 1 times 2 is 2. Now remember, an improper fraction is called improper because the numerator is greater than the denominator. It doesn't mean that it's in the wrong form. This is an acceptable answer. But be prepared in the future at any given time, especially on a multiple choice test, that it's important to know how to go from one form to the other. It just means that you're going to be a better math student, that's all. Alright, now let's talk about decimals. Let's get straight to the point. Decimals. As you told me in your own words yesterday, line up the last place values of each factor. Actually, I added that last part. So we have 2 times negative 51/100ths. Generally, you've always been told that when you multiply numbers in that vertical format, that the one with the most place values should go on top. I'm not going to change that because that's something that you're very comfortable with. But in the future, just remember, you could put the 2 on top. It shouldn't prevent you from solving this successfully. For a moment, just pretend the decimal is not there. What we did here was we lined up the last place value of both factors. And now we just start multiplying. 1 times 2 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry that 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Now as far as the decimals and the factors and the decimal and the product goes, what we do is we look at each factor and we find out how many place values are located to the right of the decimal. In this top factor, there are 2 place values. In this bottom factor, well, the decimal would be here. So there are no place values to the right of it inside this factor, okay, of 2. So we only have these 2 place values, so then in the product there are only 2 place values. And then finally, don't forget, you just multiplied a negative with a positive, so the product is negative. So it's negative 1 2/100ths. Negative 3 75/100ths times negative 4/10ths. So in tradition, we're going to put the factor with the most place values on top, and then the factor with the least place values on the bottom. And let's multiply. Disregard the decimals for a minute. 5 times 4 is 20. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. So 1500. But now we're going to go back to where we came from. There were decimals here. There are 2 place values to the right in the top factor, and there's 1 place value to the right in the bottom factor. So that gives us a total of 3 place values. So that means the product is going to have 3 place values to the right of our decimal. Again, negative times negative is positive, so it's 1.5. Last one. This is that word problem. Edgar runs 8/9 of a mile each day. After 7 days, What is his run total? Many of you are very quick to know how to do this. You told me yesterday it's just 7 times 8 ninths. And based on what we did on the front of our work here, we're going to put 7 over 1 times 8 over 9. Take a quick view of that. This is prime. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2 is 9 is 3 times 3. So simplifying these problems won't help us right now. So let's just get into multiplying. 7 times 8, 1 times 9. That's going to be 56 over 9. But this isn't a form of measure, so we need to change this improper fraction to a mixed number. So 9 goes into 56 6 times. That's 54. 56 minus 54 is 2, with that 9 as our denominator. So Edgar ran 6 2/9 miles for a total in 1 week. Excellent.